Hello, welcome to handsonsap.com. This is Hassan Mir. In this tutorial, I'm going to talk about transport disciplines. So when you're transporting configuration from one client to another, you need to make sure that you have certain rules followed all the time. Otherwise, you're going to end up with integration problems. So I'm going to talk about those rules that should be obeyed all the time in order to maintain a discipline. Okay, so let's start. We know that there are three boxes in a company: development box, test box, and production box, and you create multiple clients within each box to have partitions. Okay, so for example, in development environment, you create configuration, sandbox, and development test clients. In a test environment, you have QA test client and some training clients. In a production box, you have production client. Now, discipline 1 is configuration, and sandbox should be the only client that allows changes to configuration tables. No other client should have configuration table access given to the users. Only these two clients should be allowed to have configuration changes. Configuration and sandbox, that's very important. Now, configuration client should be the only client that creates the transport. No other client creates the transport. So configuration only is should be copied from configuration client to any other client. Now, sandbox should not create transport. Okay, sandbox is there so that you can do your experiments and some kind of exploring. Okay, but you do not copy configuration over from sandbox to other clients. Sandbox should not create transports, although it allows changes to the configuration tables. Okay, so another rule that should be followed is consultants should be creating transports related to their own setup areas. Okay, so no other consultant should be creating a transport for this setup area. If general ledger or financial is the setup area for this consultant, then no other consultant should be stepping in, and this consultant should not be creating transport for any other setup area. That's very important. Now, if you follow this discipline, then discipline basically includes only configuration client should be creating the transports, only configuration client and sandbox client should be allowed to have changes to their configuration tables, and consultants should be creating transports related to their own setup area. So this discipline should be followed all the time. If you follow the discipline, then you will prevent integration issues in your system. Okay, so you will not end up with incorrect configuration settings, and this will, if you prevent integration issues, then you will also prevent business disruptions. Okay, because integration issues brings lots of disruptions to the business. Now I'm going to touch slightly on this topic of leapfrogging, just to let you know what leapfrogging is, and that comes under the same categories of discipline that we have talked about. We should be avoiding something like this. So this happens when two consultants step on each other's toes. Okay, so September 1st, consultant 1 made changes to the setup table, for example, table 1. Now, consultant 1 is responsible for table 1, so he made some changes to table 1, so that's okay because that's his area. Now, on 20th September, consultant 2 made some changes to table 1. Now, consultant 2 is not responsible for table 1 changes, but he is making changes to consultant 1's table. Now, on 30th September, consultant 1 is supposed to transport all his settings of table 1 to some other client, and he basically unaware that another consultant has made changes to his table. Now, on 30th September, consultant 1 transported the setup of table 1. Now, this brings a problem. Consultant 1 changes are not sent over to the target client. Instead, consultant 2's changes are sent over. Why? Because consultant 2's changes were done more recently. Okay, so leapfrogging can be avoided if you follow the discipline, and the discipline is that consultants should be creating transport related to their own setup area. Okay, so that's pretty much it for this tutorial, and I'm going to see you in my next tutorial.